Jamal Niaz here with Chris Billam Smith ahead of his massive rematch with Tommy McCarthy. He's just stood to the right of you there. What an amazing occasion this is going to be. You know, one of the fight of the years last year, and it's your chance to put a definitive result on this one. Obviously, it went to the judges last time. How excited are you for this one?
Yeah, really excited. You know, it's a good fight. It was a good fight last time, and I think we're both going to be improved fighters this time as well. So I think the crowd's in for a really good spectacle on Saturday night.
Do you think, I just asked the same question to Tommy before, obviously at Matchroom HQ it's different, it's more of a subdued atmosphere. You can hear the shots that you're landing, you can hear your corner shouting at you during the fight. It's going to be completely different this time around. You know, the Manchester crowd has been starved of boxing nights like this for 2 years. You're not going to hear yourself thinking there.
Yeah, I mean, I love the atmosphere, you know, that's what it's about for me. That's the reason I got into sport, was watching my mate and everyone cheering his name, and I thought, I'll give that a go. And I absolutely loved it. So the bigger the atmosphere, the better. And I think with a Manchester crowd, I've been in that arena before for some wicked fights, Fox Groves, Eubank. So yeah, amazing fights, and it's an honour to fight them myself. Yeah,
because this is your first time fighting in Manchester, isn't it? If I'm correct. Mentioned some incredible fights there. Is that another thing adding to your legacy? Like every time you fight in a different city, you want people to remember who've been in that city. Like that was one of my favourite fights that I've seen in the flesh, because you bring it every time.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you want to put on a show every time you get the opportunity. As boxers, we only get a maximum, realistically, 3 times, maybe 4 times a year when you're fighting championship level. So every time you get the opportunity, you want to go out there and make a statement. And for me, boxing in such a historic arena, some of the boxers that have boxed there, obviously Heerdan all those years ago, absolutely made it his home. So it's an honour to fight there myself.
Tommy obviously couldn't compete in between the last fight and this one because of the eye injury he sustained last time. You competed in between. Do you think that plays any sort of factor? I mean, it could factor positively for Tommy in the fact that it's still fresh for him. He recalls it in more of an immediate manner. But for yourself, you've competed relatively soon afterwards. So how do you weigh that situation up?
Yeah, I think you could look at positives for both of us. Positives is I got another 12 rounds under my belt, which is, you know, it's really hugely beneficial. But like you said, he's had the rest, and his last fight was me, so he's just had me on his mind for, you know, about a year now since that fight was announced. So yeah, so it's been a long time for him, but there's positives for both of us.
How are your preconceptions of Tommy before the first fight to your thoughts on him now after having shared the rounds that you have with him? How do you feel towards him as a fighter, and how much respect did you gain from that first fight?
Yeah, I always respect him as a fighter. You know, I know he's got skills, I know his strengths, and now maybe I know more of his weaknesses, because when you don't really notice them as much until you're in there with someone, but you also might pick up a few strengths as well that they've got. So always respect him as a fighter, and I'm really excited because I think he's going to be a better Tommy McCarthy Saturday night, and I know I'm a better Chris Billam Smith, so I think it makes for a great fight.
Obviously you've got a little one on the way as well, which is, I'm guessing, massively added motivation for yourself. I know that I've watched the pre-fight documentary. You said you kind of want to compartmentalise those sort of things, but that's something else to be fighting for as well, isn't it? It's another person in your life to fight for.
Yeah, for sure. You know, hopefully we won't need that extra motivation. It'll be there, but you never know. Sometimes you might have to bite down on your gum shield and think about those sort of things. But and that's there. I've got that as an extra tool, an extra motivation, like you said. But I felt brilliant all camp.
And obviously, it was a close fight last time. Some people thought it went one way, some people thought it went another. Is it in your mind consciously heading into this one, like it would be a lot easier, it goes without saying, to get the finish? Is that something that you're chasing, or are you just going to let everything flow naturally and whatever comes?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking, you know, I always look for a knockout. Last time I couldn't find it. Tommy was very good and clever, taking shots away from me when I had him hurt. So yeah, it's but always you don't get paid overtime, as they say in this sport. So yeah, it's if the opportunity's there, obviously I'll be 100% looking to take him out.
It's no secret that the path to world title glory is what you're immediately after this one. In terms of your path to a specific world title, is there any champion that you want to call out? Is any champion that you're desiring to fight this year?
No, I don't think any specific champion. I think obviously a lot of them are tied up in mandatories and stuff at the moment, but I think the main ones that are free are obviously Makabu and Gulamarian. So you know, they're the sort of fights I'm looking to, and the sort of belts I'm looking at. But I've got a lot of learning to do, and I've done a lot of learning this camp. The focus first got to be on Saturday night.
How would you compare this camp to the camp for the first fight?
Compare them?
Yeah, how would you compare them?
I mean, last time I missed out the last 3 weeks of sparring with an injury, so I had an injury in the last 3 weeks of camp, and then the last sparring session got cancelled because the person broke down on the way. So I've sparred all the way up to this one. So that in itself, sparring's everything in a training camp, and this time I've been fortunate to be able to spar all the way through, and even pre-camp I was helping Lawrence out. So I've had a fantastic camp.
Have you studied the first fight much, or have you not even watched it? How many times have you watched it, if you have?
Yeah, I've watched it a few times. Probably I watched it after last year a couple of times, then more recently when the fight got announced. I think it was a closer fight than maybe I felt on the night, but I still had myself winning by 2 rounds, and that's been harsh for myself. So I felt comfortable in there, and on the night I thought I'd easily done enough. But yeah, I can't be letting it go that close this time.
Is it easy to watch your own fights, or do you, like you said, are you really harsh on yourself? And does it annoy you when you watch a mistake that you've made in a fight? Does it eat up at you for a bit, or is it just that's something to learn from? We don't read too much into it, because you can never be perfect. You can literally never be perfect in anything you do. Yeah,
you've got to look at the positives from it, but at the same time it's hard to watch when you know you're so much better than the performance you're watching, and you're watching yourself from a third person point of view, and you know you're capable of so much more. So it is difficult in a way, but you got to go through that and pick up what you're good at and what you're not so good at. So especially when you're having a rematch with someone, some of the things are going to be exactly the same. So yeah, you got to be ready for those mistakes you made, and putting them right and ironing out the mistakes.
Regardless of the result on Saturday, do you feel that Tommy still has the tools to go all the way in the sport, whichever way it goes on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's when it comes to that sort of taking losses and stuff, it's about mentality, and mentality is everything in this sport. And I think if you look at some people over the years, they've had setbacks, but they kept persevering, they get through it, and they end up getting to world level even after losses in these sort of fights. So absolutely, I think he's ability-wise, he's got it there.
Perfect. I know you've got to go and do your open workout soon, and you're busy on media duties, so I really appreciate your time, Chris, and best of luck for everything, and enjoy the time after the fight as well with your family.
Thank you, mate, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.